So now that we have finished all our meshes and did the exploded view, we can export into Substance, and we can export all the pieces that we and prepare them for Unreal. So I went ahead, and after we did all the packing, so I did the exploded view so that I can export it, and then I did my high poly. Then I went back and I copied all my parts and I moved them into my main group. And the only thing that I had to do was, if I press 4, it was move everything to 000, because this is how we're gonna import all our meshes into Unreal. So you always want all your meshes in the origin. So that's what I did. I just grabbed the mesh, center pivot, or place the pivot where I want it, and brought everything back into the grid so that it could be at the origin. After that, all you want to do is grab one by one, file, export selected, place the location where you're going to export the files, and then export them one by one. So all these meshes, you're gonna be exporting them into a folder so that you can import all of them separately in Unreal. So I have all my meshes here, and then I don't have to worry about the FBXs no more. So I can hide this one, and then I'll export this one for Substance. So I did that earlier, which is right here. So I exported the whole thing so that I can texture it, and exported my high poly as well. And then we're gonna move on into Substance. It's going to be the same process as before, and I already finished texturing mine because it was just drag and drop. I shared some of the materials. I try to use most of the materials in the library, but you can ask in Discord if you want a certain material and I can get it for you. This is how mines end up looking. So this was me after I textured everything. And there's some techniques that I'm going to show you currently, like how to light up windows, so that when you place your windows in Unreal, you can light them up. And everything else was just dragging and dropping and painting over stuff. I'll show how I did the rope. We did wood before, so it's the same. I just drag and dropped and rotated the texture to look how I want it. Same thing here. Here I did something a little bit different. I use alphas. I'm gonna show you guys how I did this part. For the chain, drag and drop the metallic material and adjust it. Same thing with these, and all I did was apply a material in here and another one out here by masking. And the wood, just dragged and dropped. And same thing here, drag and drop one material in the inside, another material on the outside. Same thing with the bell. The bell was a material, then I painted all this damage. So let's start with the technique of the lighting. The first thing you want to do if you want to light something up is you go in Substance into shader settings. You have if you just scroll a little bit down, you'll see that you have emissive intensity, so you can adjust how bright things are. So increase this to 2 so that you could see it. Then what you want to do is close this and then come into your texture set settings. This is where all your channels are. And then you want to go into, I have 3 texture sets because remember we applied a material for the bell because that's one UV set, a material for the lift because that's another UV set, and for my windows another UV set because I did three UV sets. So if you take a look at my UV set in the viewport, so this is the window, the lift, and the bell. So these were my 3 sheets. We did that in Maya, and that's how I packed mine so that I can get more details on each of my meshes. So now you want to come to the texture set that you want the emissive channel on. So then you press that, you come into texture settings and you press the plus button. And in the plus button, when you press the plus button, you're going to see a bunch of channels. The one you want to pick is emissive. I have it down here. Once you apply an emissive channel, you're going to see that in your properties up here, you're going to have an emissive channel now enabled. So then what I did was, see how I can turn it on and turn it off? What I did was I created a material. This one is a fill. I did a fill layer. Then I applied a black mask. I created I created a generator and applied drifting rust. And that's all I did. Then I duplicated this whole layer up here. And since it's duplicated, all I did was I inverted the channel and changed the color a little bit so I can have the variation of the tone. I'm going to show you that right now instead of just telling you. So what I did first was created a folder so that I can mask only the window panes. Then you create a fill layer, put it inside the folder, uncheck metal, roughness, normal, height, and color. Just leave the emissive. And for demonstration purposes, I'll do this red. Then you want to apply a black mask. Right click, apply a generator, click, and dripping rust. Or you can use any other mask, but I use this one. So I have this, the generator applied this mask. So only this is what I'm getting. Then what I did was I duplicated the layer. And when you duplicate, it duplicates with everything that you did before. Grab the dripping rust, invert it, and came to the color and changed the color to another tint. In this case, what I did was I had the red, and let's say I just made it a little bit darker or a different tone. And that's basically what I did before for the lighting. Then when you export this, it's going to give you an emissive map. And that emissive map is what you're going to use in Unreal to adjust the intensity of the light of window. So that was the technique I used for the lighting. So that's how I got this. Now, what I did for this part, which is this one, the material I used for this to get the those planks, I came here and wrote wall, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And I used this one. So all I did was I grabbed, dragged and drop. And then what I did, I masked this face, and then I came to the material itself and rearranged play with my scale and my offset to get it looking where I want it. So see how I can move because the material looks like that. The material looks like this. So what I did was I scaled it 0.1 bigger and then moved it up and down until I got what I actually wanted. And 0.05 was the value that actually gave me the correct scale for it. Then in the outside, I wrote wood and used wood walnut, which is right here. I use this material, and I use that material almost for everything here. Trying to do simple. If I wanted more detail, I could take hours just figuring and blending materials, but since this is just to show you how you just apply a material and then export and just bring it into Substance, into Unreal, I think that's good enough. Then for the rope, I actually shared a rope material with you guys. So if I'm not mistaken, I shared this one, rope Manila, sorry. And then all you do for the rope is let's go to the lift. All you do for the rope is add it, add a mask so that you can just mask the rope. Then increase is gonna come like this. It's gonna come like this, and all you want to do is increase the scale so that you can get the divisions on it. And depending on how you have your rope laid out on the UV sheet, you may want to just rotate this. So you can rotate it here like so, and that's how the rope was made. Then everything else is just a simple material and mask. This material is the sandbags. So what I did was I grabbed the fabric knitted sweater. So I wrote fabric. Roll it like that so I can get different things. And then I used this one. When I used this one, I applied it, masked it, and then increased the scale of it. So by default it comes in like this, and then you scale it. So I scaled it so it looks like bag. And then down here, since this is in the lift and this touches the ground, what I did was I grabbed any dirt material and I just painted on the bottom a little bit to make it dirty. And for that I used the brush. And then I used like one of these dirt cloud and then just stamped it all around. That's all I did for the sandbags. Same thing for the bell. The bell, I grabbed a couple of just couple of materials and then applied it. Like I came into the Smart Materials, and this red one is one of these normal, this one, steel painted worn, and that's this one. And then for the outside, I actually went the opposite. I went to regular materials and then I selected a plaster, if I'm not mistaken, and is this one, painted plaster. I use that one, but you can use any color. You don't have to use the same materials that I did. You can use whatever you want. I just used that. And then for these, I just grabbed any alpha, any of the alphas, added a, let's say, let's go into bell, and here I'm just gonna add I'll add a regular layer, And then all you want to do is grab a brush, whatever brush you want. You can put a material on this. Let's say let's write rust. There you go. Let's add this one. So right now, if I press it, you see I get a little bit of rust, right? But that's not what I did. This is just for the color information. You can also add it for the metallic and the roughness as well. See? And you get that information for those channels. Oh, by mistake, move to. So there you go, you got all three. And then what I did was I unchecked. I don't need a normal map for this, but I left the height. And what I did is just brought the height down. So every time I click on it, you can see the indent. And I could do that, or I can bring it forward so that the rust comes out. And that's all I did for these. And then everything else was basically the same, just masking, applying a material, masking, applying a material. And then for this one, what I did was the same thing I did for the rust. So let me uncheck, remove all these. I grab the color, pump the metallic, the roughness, so that I can get something like that. Added height, grabbed an alpha. I grabbed this one, circle cog. And now you have your mouse, and then all you need to do is, let's delete this one, go into the lift, because that's where I did it. And then add a, see where I have it here, added a painter layer, and then I can click on it and it'll give me that. And then all the inside ones is just different alphas that I used, that I found here. I used this one, I used this one, this one. But that's how I did that. And if you want to rotate, I did that, but if you want to rotate the cog, all you need to do is rotate it over here, and you get different rotations for it. So that's how you do like the gears for it. And that's basically how I painted this whole asset. Same thing for the wheel. I added a material, and then I selected some of the faces. So I came here and selected face mode, and I masked just this so that the wood can come out for that little part. So if I take a look, here it is. And then I just masked whatever I didn't need. So I grab this one. See, and I mask whatever you don't need. See? So I added it here. So if I start selecting faces, I can add wood trims to it if I need to. But I did it by selecting faces, because this is all one. If you take a look, this is all one shell. So I did it by selecting the faces instead. And this is how I did the whole texturing. Then all you want to do is come to File, Export, and then you're going to have all three of your settings, your texture sets. You can rename the texture sets in the program itself. So if you double click, you can set a naming for it. I always do T underscore and whatever the assets is for texture. Then press export, And then what we want to do, before we were using the PVR for Maya and for Sketch Labs. For Unreal, you're going to scroll down and you're going to select Unreal Engine 4 Packed. And what this is going to do is, if you come into Output Templates, then Packed, what this is going to do is give you the name of the mesh, which we don't want that. You can delete name of the mesh. You can do this. Just leave the money sign and texture set. So now your textures are going to be called the texture set, the name that you placed here, underscore base color, underscore occlusion, roughness, metallic, underscore normal, underscore emissive. This is what you're going to get. So then when you export your textures, you are going to get something that looks like this. So if you open it, you're going to have this for the base color. You're going to have the normal. And you're going to have the occlusion, roughness, metallic. And you're going to see that the image is going to be all kinds of different colors. Is because the information of the occlusion is going to be stored in the RGB channels. So you got, every image has RGB, so red, green, and blue. So the occlusion is going to be stored in the red channel. The roughness is going to be stored in the green channel, and the metallic is going to be stored in the blue channel. And that way you can have 3 maps in just one texture, and in the engine you can split them apart and do different things with them. And that's basically what you want to do, just for the texturing and export process. In the next video, I'm going to be introducing you to Unreal Engine, and I have already created a material. I already added some assets there, so that the only thing you're going to be focusing on is importing your meshes, applying the textures, and creating a world. So see you in the next video.